Okay, so for today we are going to continue our lesson. So today is chapter 1, lesson 2. The title is rate of change by equation, graph, or table. So basically on the previous lesson, I have taught you about how to estimate the instantaneous rate of change, what's the difference between average rate and instantaneous rate of change, and yeah, how to estimate it by making the delta t as small as possible, right? From 1 to 1.1, 1 to 1.01, and the last is 1 to 1.001. So by equation, you should be able to estimate the value of the derivative, which is instantaneous rate of change. Okay, so for today, I'm gonna teach you how to estimate the derivative if the graph is given. So on the previous lesson, the equation is given. Now in this one, the graph is given. Okay, so the objective of this lesson is on your book page 6. It's on your book page 6. Given a function y equals fx specified by a graph, a table of values, or an equation, describe whether the y value is increasing or decreasing as x increases through a particular value, and estimate the instantaneous rate of change of y at the value of x. Okay, so let's get to it now. So if you look at the screen, I have given you an equation of a parabola, a quadratic equation, quadratic function. And the equation is negative y equals negative 5x squared plus 20x plus 5. Now, if you are given only the graph, then how can we estimate the instantaneous rate of change? Actually, the principle is the same. The principle is instantaneous rate of change the instantaneous rate of change will always be, for this one, for this chapter, will always be estimated by calculating the average change. Okay, so let's go to the second. If you look at the second graph, given there is two conditions, which is t equals 1 and t equals 2. Okay, when t equals 1 and t equals 2. And then when you try to find the value of 1 and the value of 2, which is easy, I have calculated. Actually, you can also, yeah, I have calculated for you. Actually, the result is 20 and 25. Okay, so the instantaneous rate of change will be approximately f2 minus f1 over 2 minus 1, which is in this case is equal to, in this case equals to 25 20 over 1, which is 5. So if you pick the t equals 1 and t equals 2, then you will get the instantaneous rate of change is equal to 5. Okay, and then we move on. We make the gap, we make the delta t closer. Now I have t equals 1 and t equals 1.5. T equals 1.5. Sorry. T equals 1.5. Okay, and then I have also calculated the f1 and the f1.5 for you, which is the value is equal to 20 and 23.75. Yeah, so basically the instantaneous rate of change will be approximately 23.75 minus 20 over 1.5 minus 1, which will be equals to, this will be equal to 3.75 over 0.5, which is 7.5. Okay. So, and then if you continue to make it smaller, then actually, then the two conditions that is given is actually at the same time, right? When t equals 1 and t equals 1 also. So in that case, then by definition that you have learned in the previous years of math class, then when you have a graph and you have a line, and that line is only intersecting the graph at one point, then it's gonna be called a tangent line. Tangent line. Okay. So for a tangent line, so how do you estimate the derivative if the graph is given? Then actually you just need to draw a tangent line and then find the slope. Why the slope? Because the formula of the slope is actually y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, right? Plus over 1. And realize that this formula is pretty similar of the formula to find the average rate of change. Got it? So actually, how do we estimate the derivative of a function is a graph is given? Then what you need to do is to draw a tangent line at the particular point, here at x equals 1 or at t equals 1, and then you draw a tangent line. After you draw a tangent line, you calculate what's the slope, and the slope will be the approximation value of the instantaneous rate of change. Okay, so that's the first part that I want to teach you, and then let's go to the example 1 on your book, page 7. Figure 1.2a shows the graph of a function at x equals a, x equals b, and x equals c. State whether y is increasing, decreasing, or neither as x increases. Now, I'm gonna tell you right now that how to determine whether as x increases, whether your graph will be increases or decreases, or actually neither. So it's going flat. So if you see this graph, that you have learned also that when the slope is positive, then actually it's going this direction, right? And then when the slope is negative, then it's going to this direction. And when the slope is equal to 0, it's actually a horizontal line. Okay, so how do we know whether our graph is increasing or decreasing as the x increases? You just need to check the slope. If the slope is positive, then actually as the x increase, the y will also increase. Yeah, and then if the slope is negative, then the x increase, the y will decrease. And when the slope is equal to 0, then actually when the x increase, the y value doesn't change. So it's neither. So if you look at example 1, the answer when x equals a, if you draw a tangent line, then it will be the slope will be positive, right? So it's basically increasing. And when x equals b, the slope is negative, so it will increase. And when x equals c, because it's actually the top of the graph, and if you draw a tangent line, it's going to be a horizontal line. So we say that it's neither increasing or decreasing. Okay, any question? So that's for example 1. Example 2, we will skip. And then let's look at example 3. Example 3, page 8. So it's basically this one we have covered yesterday. It's like yesterday's lesson. You can just read it by yourself. And then the one that I'm gonna discuss again to you right now is example 4. So the previous lesson, we talked about estimating it when the equation is given. And then we also, right now I taught you how to do it when the graph is given. Now, what if it is, the data is given numerically, like in your book, page 9, example 4, the data given is on the table. So it's the same thing. Basically, you just need to find the average rate of change, and that you use to find the estimate, to estimate the value of the instantaneous rate of change. Let's see. Example 4. A mass is bouncing up and down on a spring hanging from the ceiling. Its distance, y in feet, from the ceiling is measured by a calculator distance from each 1/10 seconds, so every 0.1 seconds, giving the table of the value in which t in time in second. So look at the figure. It shows you the illustration about what is happening. So the question is, how fast is y changing at each time at t equals 0.3? So because we have only numerical data, so what we can do is to use the closest data that we have. So when t equals 0.3, yeah, because the interval given is only 0.1, so we're gonna use the data of t equals 0.2 and the data of t equals 0.4. Okay. So the average rate, the first average rate, we do it with y 0.4 minus y 0.3 over 0.4 minus 0.3. Okay, which is in this case is equal to 7.37 minus 5.84 over 0.1. And actually it's been calculated that the rate is equal to 15.3. And then you use the second, and then we find the second situation, which is you compare it with the previous one, with t equals 0.2. So it's equal to y 0.3 minus y 0.2 over 0.3 minus 0.2, which is already calculated also in your book. It's actually 18.5. Okay. And then the instantaneous rate of change, we will get it from the average of the first one and the second one. So basically, you just need to find the average, which is 18.5 plus 15.3 divided by 2. So it's equal to 16.9. So this will be the estimation value of the instantaneous rate of change. Okay. So one more time, I'm gonna make it bold to you again. I'm gonna emphasize that instantaneous rate of change, the calculus term that we use to show the instantaneous rate of change, is called derivative. Yeah, you need to be familiar with that term starting from now. Derivative. Okay, that's all for today. Thank you.